Under our first caution here at Dover International Speedway after 8 of the 200 laps that we're going to race today. And the damaged front splitter that we showed you, the reason for the caution came off of this car, the 15 of Timmy Hill. You can see the front end of it there. And you saw what they were doing in pit road to fix it.
Well, they just missed their height adjustment by quite a bit, because the first part of the race, it just wore that splitter out. The car was just sitting on the splitter going through the corner. So they just stopped to raise it up a little bit in the front end. And let's go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer to show us how they did that. Tim?
Thanks, Andy. You know, this is a part of the splitter right here. A lot of the guys are getting where they put them on the cars in sections, but they affix to the bottom of the car right here. But when they hit it really hard, like Andy showed a while ago, the car goes down and actually crams the ground, and traveling at 160 mile an hour when it goes down that corner, you can't expect it to stay on there very long. Andy?
Yeah, that's what brought the caution out, was that center piece you see had actually come loose from the car and was sitting on the track. Now that you see them, they're using the jack screws to raise the car up and get that splitter off the ground, or what's left of the splitter.
All right, let's reset it for you, because we have Elliott Sadler, our race leader. He's led all the laps so far since the drop of the green flag. Carl Edwards right alongside. Carl will be on the high side on this restart. Then in row 2, it's Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, then Casey Kane, Ryan Truex, Brad Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rounding out your top 8. Pace car is off. They come out of turn number 4. Green flag's in the air, and we're racing again at Dover. This time it's Carl Edwards that gets the better restart. And he is going to jump out into the lead. The 18 of Joey Logano, and dropping back to 3rd is our pole sitter, Elliott Sadler.
I think these restarts are the one area of the day in particular that are going to concern our drivers that are battling for this points championship. You can see Elliott Sadler was a little bit easier. He wanted on that first one to get out there and get that lap led, but taking a little more caution this time.
Brad Keselowski in that 22 underneath the 20 of Ryan Truex, and the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And Jamie, are you hearing word that there may be a problem on the 6?
Well, he doesn't have a problem. It's the way he's driving and the way the car is handling. This is what he said on the radio.
Anything you can do to help roll the center or anything? I've tried running up a little bit and turning down and driving across the bottom. But when I do that, I can't get it back to the bottom. I just got to stick around the bottom and feed the throttle into it easy. But, I mean, they're eating me up, man.
And Ricky told me this morning his biggest issue is overdriving the corner, and that allows his car to tighten up and will not go through the center, Marty.
All right, thanks for the update there on the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And you can see him just fighting that wheel.
Yeah, he's fighting it pretty good. But you see Ryan Truex in that 20. That thing is really tail happy. Lost a few spots, but he's hanging on to it. Looks like it's pretty free.
Truex has dropped back to the 9th position in that number 20. Right behind him is the 88 of Eric Almirola. In front of him, the 31 of Justin Allgaier. Well, we saw how tail happy the 20 was. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
So Marty, that was his report during this caution period. It is free going into the corner. When it hits the center of the corner, it doesn't want to turn. And then right here where it's coming off the corner, it is free again. That's a condition that's really tough, especially getting back in line. Fortunately, he's got veteran spotter Curtis Markham up on top of the building today to help him through it.
Restarted in 5th, has dropped back to 9th. Last few laps, though, he has been able to hold station there.
I think it's going to be important for this young man right now is just to make sure that he doesn't do anything crazy. In just over 20 laps, he's going to get a competition yellow here, an opportunity that everybody will come down pit road and he can work on this car and tighten it up a little bit.
There you see Carl Edwards. He's opened up an 0.8 of a second lead over Joey Logano. Dave?
You know, Carl Edwards didn't lead that first few laps. He didn't prevent the 2 car from getting that point. But his agenda now is to prevent Elliott from being able to get the most laps led. Obviously, Carl's in the lead right now, but if Elliott was to lead the most laps, he would get another point for that. So the agenda changed a little bit, and Carl's still able to help teammate Stenhouse. Doc?
And Elliott said, listen, I want to run the car very, very hard early on, which he did, and then the yellow came out, and now it's about just getting the car comfortable. He said, if I can get a top 5 finish these last 6 races, we can win the championship. Right now, Elliott says the car is very free
There you see Sadler running in the 4th position right now, and behind him, here comes Brad Keselowski. He has gotten around the 38, gives a little wave of thank you to Casey Kane, and is setting sail. In fact, the talk in the garage area was that the 22 of Keselowski and the 60 of Carl were going to be the 2 that you'd have to deal with by the end of this race.
It was just a matter of time before you saw that 22 car coming to the front.
So there is your top 5 as we've completed 20 of 200 here at Dover. Tonight, ESPN2 and ESPN deliver 2 primetime thrillers. First on ESPN2, as soon as we get finished here at Dover, Frank Beamer and the 11th ranked Hokies have their first real test of the season when they host Dabo Sweeney's 13th ranked Tigers. Then on ESPN at 8 Eastern, Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish look to win their 3rd straight against Danny Hope's Purdue Boilermakers. Both games part of Tailgate Week. It's fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. We have completed 27 of 200 here at Dover, and our race leader is Carl Edwards. There's our pole sitter, the number 2 of Elliott Sadler. He's under attack from the 22 of Brad Keselowski, and Keselowski's underneath him.
Yeah, he may lose a spot also to Ricky Stenhouse, who's coming on strong now. Looks like his car's gotten a lot better for him.
As this run has progressed, during the break, Andy, you were noticing he was the fastest car on the track.
Yeah, a couple laps, the 6 car was the fastest car. It tells me that you know, the track is changing. It's tightening up a little bit. The track's kind of coming to his setup.
Ryan Truex in the 31 of Justin Allgaier, as those 2 are going after each other. That is for 8th position.
That's another car that was really free, was Ryan Truex in that 20. And now it seems like the track must be tightening up a little bit because those cars are starting to come back to life.
Garrett Cope in the 28 is lap traffic. He is 1 lap down in 30th position.
What you may have is this track starts to rubber up some as we see Clint Boyer now go under Joey Logano, trying to take that 2nd spot away.
And it looks like he is going to clear him, and does. Now he is 1.7 seconds behind our race leader Carl Edwards. Edwards has now led 20 of the 30 laps that we've run. Elliott Sadler led the first 10.
That's traditionally what you expect the track to do, is to tighten up here. A lot of tracks we've been to, we've seen almost the opposite effect. As they run, they get looser. It looks like tonight, or today, it actually is getting tighter.
Yeah, we'll listen to them and see, Andy. I know one other thing that the drivers were telling me, that as this track rubbered up, then the front doesn't grip quite as hard, so you're not as loose. Whenever it didn't have the rubber down, the front would really grip, and that would make the back end of the car extremely loose because it literally couldn't keep up with the front end of the car. But Joe Logano's looking pretty good right now, Jenny.
He is, but he's actually saying he's really loose as in qualifying, and when he gets around other cars, it gets worse. His team reminding him that the competition caution is coming up in about 8 laps, and he wants some adjustments.
And we're working lap 33, so as Jamie mentioned, that competition caution coming up on lap number 40, as it is Edwards, Boyer, and Logano, your top 3. The rounding out the top 5, Brad Keselowski and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our championship points leader in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Race leader Carl Edwards puts Scott Riggs 1 lap down. Riggs running in the 24th position, but his lead that was once 1.7 seconds over Clint Boyer has dwindled to about 0.6 of a second. There is side-by-side action between the 22 of Brad Keselowski and the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That is for 4. And the competition yellow is out. Remember, we had all-night rain here in the Dover area, and they want to take a good look at these tires for good reason.
Well, this track is a concrete track. When you get the rain washing all the rubber off, it really does wear the tires quickly, and they want to make sure that the track is taking rubber good and that we don't have any issues early on here.
Yeah, we actually saw wear yesterday in practice when there was a lot of rubber down on the track. So just a little bit of a precautionary measure by NASCAR. These teams can take a good look and see exactly what they can expect from this racetrack from here on out.
We showed you Scott Riggs being put a lap down. He will get that lap back courtesy of the lucky dog. So we'll have 24 cars back on the lead lap when we go back to green flag racing.
Just before that caution came out, Clint Boyer in the 33 car had been kind of reeling Carl Edwards in slowly.
And before qualifying, he had told me, he said, I think we are going to be very good on the long runs, and that was bearing it out.
Last few times that Clint's been here, he's been a factor in the race, and we don't expect anything less here this weekend.
Well, you can see as everybody is coming down pit road, cars that are on the lead lap, led by our race leader, Carl Edwards, with Clint Boyer, Joey Logano right behind. Let's send it down to Jamie Little.
And Mike Kelly, the crew chief for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., told him earlier before the race, let's focus on the biggest problem. Ricky said, I can't get through the center. They're going to take wedge out of the left rear 4 tires and fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Dave.
Same problem for the blue and white 60th leader Edwards. Can't get through the center. Just slapping some tape on the front end to help it turn, Doc.
Right side of your screen, Brad Keselowski, tire change, air pressure change, a little bit free on exits, and otherwise not really good. Right bottom corner, 4 tires, no changes for Clint Boyer. Boyer was the fastest car on the racetrack the last 5 laps in the long run.
Well, Brad Keselowski takes 2 tires, picks up 3. Look at Jason Leffler. He picks up 10 spots on a 2-tire stop. Joey Logano drops 4. As we give you another view of exactly what's happening on the 30 of Jason Leffler. That's Tracy Duncan, the Jackman.